Hi everybody, my name is Anastasia, welcome to the channel, and today I'll be answering your questions. First I'll go through some questions that I got on Instagram, and then I'll follow up with the questions that I got on YouTube. So Elizabeth asks if I have a coach now for my bikini prep and how will I deal with prep over Christmas. Very good questions. As you know, this is my third bikini competition prep, so I will be competing for the third year in 2018, and for the first 2 years I had the coach named Nash Joshik, who've trained me before, so he knew my body before, and his approach is very simple, mostly low carb. And this time I decided to do something different because I feel like your body has to change every single time you do your prep. So I went with a different coach from America, and his approach is very similar to my old coach. The only difference I would say is more cardio and slightly more carbs, which is kind of a mainstream, I guess, approach. So yes, I do have a coach. I feel that no matter the level of competitor you are, no matter how much experience you have, it's always better to have a second pair of eyes on you, because it's very difficult to judge yourself and to see what changes you need to make. And both of my coaches, they're super experienced. My first coach, Nash Joshik, is here, so he's always keeping an eye on me. He's like my father in a way. He's very caring and I just love him. He competed himself many times. And another coach I'm using in the US right now, he's also very experienced. I think he's in his 50s and he's dealt with a lot of bikini girls. So I feel that it's very important to find a very experienced coach. I don't think I can trust a coach who is under 35 and hasn't done any competitions or hasn't prepped many people. Loyalty is very important, but I think when it comes to bodybuilding, it's nice to change approach once in a while, and once in a while try something different. So I love my old coach. He's still keeping an eye on me in here in the UK, but just trying something different. During Christmas and New Year's, I will just have to do my prep. I don't have any other choice. I might have a meal or two with my family, but very simple meal. And whenever you are trying to treat yourself with a family and you're on prep, I usually go for a meal that has a lot of protein, so you feel full. And then if you do have something naughty, it will be in a smaller quantity because you'll be full from that protein. So yeah, the plan for Christmas and New Year's Eve, just gotta be on prep. Next question. Lauren asked what book I'm currently reading. Well, right now I just finished an audiobook. I was listening to Brothers Karamazov by Fyodor Dostoevsky. I read this book probably 10 years ago in Russian, so it was very interesting to hear it in English, and I use Audible for my audiobooks. It's great whenever I go on long walks, so even during cardio or anytime I'm on the public transport. I do love to have a paper book, but audiobook, it's also great. The next book I'll be reading is also a Russian author. It's called Master and Margarita by Bulgakov, and I read it again in Russian over 10 years ago. I just feel like getting back into my Russian literature, because as you grow older, sometimes it's really cool to reread the classics, to see it from a different perspective when you're adult and have more life experience. So yeah, this is my next book, even though it's quite thick, so I'm not sure I'll be taking it on a trip to Spain, but otherwise this is the next one. Vicky asked me, what is the best way to get motivated for a gym session? I think the best way to get motivated is to have a goal. For me right now, being in prep, having a bikini competition in March. But in the off season, I had a few days where I was a bit lazy feeling. So what helps me is to have a strong coffee and also blast some amazing music to get into the mood. I feel that music is very powerful to me. Cool podcast to motivate me, something about the grind or just getting it done. So once I'm in the gym, I'm caffeinated, I have great music, and I feel that that helps me a lot. Feeling of guilt or things like that don't really help me, because whenever I go to the gym with a feeling of guilt, I know I won't have a good session. Another motivating thing to help your mind to do it is to realize that every gym session you do is investment in your future body, your health, your well-being, and even if you will slack during the workout, it's better to go anyway and do at least something. I got a couple of questions of what camera I used to film. So I use Sony Alpha, I'll put the link in the bio. Or sometimes I use iPhone. I feel like this iPhone 8 that I have right now, it's pretty good camera, and it's a really good plan B whenever your battery is dying or you just want to record something on the go with being a bit sneaky without taking out your big camera. Or sometimes for vlogging, it's much more comfortable to vlog with a phone rather than with a bulky camera. But yeah, this camera is really good, very good quality. It's not a crazy one, and I got it secondhand on Amazon. Another few questions I had were about losing body fat in specific body area. For example, somebody asked me how to lose fat in love handles or how to get slimmer legs. All I have to say is that whenever you're losing fat, you just don't know where it will go first and it will go last. So this is unfortunately down to genetics. We all store fat in different places, and no matter how much you train the body part that you want to lose the fat on, it won't happen because It's just genetic. So if you're watching your nutrition and you're training hard, eventually you will lose fat on the area that you want, but you just don't know when. And now we'll go through some YouTube questions. Vera asked me what type of warming up do I do before my weight training sessions. The truth is I'm not very good at warming up and I hardly do any warming up. The reason is because all the gyms that I go to are probably about half an hour to 45 minutes away from my home, and whenever I go there I take a bus or I take a tube and then I walk for an extra 10 minutes to go to the gym. And I'm always walking really fast, so I always feel that when I get to the gym I'm already warmed up by doing this speedy walk. And if I'm still feeling cold or very stiff before a certain training session, I will just do the same exercise that I will start with, but very light weights. For example, if I'm doing back, I might do some shoulder rotations or do something light with the dumbbells just to keep the blood flowing. Otherwise, I don't really warm up. If you do feel quite cold, or if you drive to the gym and you don't have any blood flow before you start your session, you can just do any type of cardio for maybe 5 to 10 minutes and then you'll be good to go. Egle, if I pronounce your name correctly, asked me what approach would I recommend for weight loss ketogenic diet, if it fits your macros, low carb, high carb. Yeah, thank you for the question. To be honest, it doesn't matter what approach you do as long as you can make it sustainable. What it means is that if you like eating that type of diet on a regular basis, and when it comes to fat loss, unfortunately, it's all about calorie deficit. So for example, your body needs 2000 calories to function. So if you cut your calories to, let's say, 1600, you still need 2000, but because you're eating 1600, it will take 400 calories from your own fat. And eventually, fat will burn off. So if you're eating more than 2000, you'll be storing it as fat. And if you're eating under 2000, you'll be losing weight. But with any diet, any type of approach, you will have an uncomfortable moment because your body doesn't like to get rid of fat. So you will, of course, be faced with a bit of low energy during some parts or feeling hungry. And then once you lose the desired weight you want, you can go back to eating 2000 calories or maybe a bit less, and you'll be maintaining your weight. But to lose originally, you just need to be in a deficit. And you can do it with, if it fits your macros, you can do ketogenic, it really doesn't matter. And of course, you need to train with weights as well, because training with weights burns more calories than cardio. In a cardio, you just burn the calories right there and then, while with weight training sessions, you burn your calories when you're working out and also the day after when your body is recovering those muscle tissues. But the only tip I would give you whenever you're on a diet to lose fat is just to make sure that you include protein source in every single meal, because it's very essential and it keeps you fuller. But before you just cut your calories and start a crazy diet, just try to analyze the whole week, write down every single thing you eat and drink, and then from there you can clean up your diet a little bit and increase your activity. Some people don't even need drastic changes in their diet, because for bikini competitions we have certain amount of time and certain amount of weight to lose. And if I had the same amount of weight to lose over a year, of course, I would take it more slowly. So don't look at competitors and how fast they lose their body fat, because it's a bit more intense and it will be very draining for you and more stressful for your body. So try to take it gently, write down every single thing you eat, clean up that list, and then maybe slowly decrease your calories, increase the protein in every meal, and you'll be good. Heather asked me how long is my hair and do I have any hair care tips. Yeah, my hair is pretty long. It's always been long. The shortest I've had it was probably 2014, where I cut it up to here, and now 3 years later it grew. I do trim it once in a while, but just teeny tiny bit with my own scissors. I've done a few hair care videos before, so I'll link them below. But the main tip is not to wash your hair too often. Don't use any heat. I hardly blow dry my hair, maybe like once a month or every other month. I never straighten it, I never curl it. And another great tip is to put conditioner on your dirty hair before you wash it, because conditioner will seal your ends and keep them healthy. And also, whenever you're shampooing your hair, just shampoo the roots, and when you're rinsing it off, the foam will wash the ends. So don't try to scrub the ends because they're already drier. And when you rinse it, the foam will clean them. Next question, Herida asked me, how am I always so happy? Well, I am not always so happy, but I think for YouTube or in general, whenever I want to talk to you guys or share something, of course I want to share something positive. Or even if I have a negative experience or something sad, I want to share how I've dealt with it or how I've improved it, basically give you a solution. I don't think there's any point of complaining on YouTube or being sad or being depressed, because first of all, nobody wants to watch that. Second of all, I don't want to watch that. I only want to put positive things and useful things. But of course I have sad days, of course I have lazy days, but I do feel the happiest whenever I have a certain goal, and if I do something every day for that goal that gives me satisfaction, it means I'm on a journey. And also just, I guess, not to take life too seriously and not take yourself too seriously, because nobody is perfect, we're not perfect. And I think looking at the world through the kind of humorous eyes, it's so much better, because even if you're faced with confrontation, very upsetting things or anything sad, humor always lights things up. And it's not always easy to joke about serious things, but you know what? We're humans. And of course, human life is a tragedy, because in the end of the day, we will all die. And I think that kind of keeps me motivated and happy, because if you wake up and you're happy, you have food on your table, and yes, okay, everybody has money problems or relationship problems, but as long as you're kind of okay mentally, health-wise, and your family is kind of okay, and everybody's kind of getting along, and you're kind of becoming a better person, and you nurture your soul, your body, and your mind, you'll be okay. So I guess my happiness comes from knowing that I'm always on a journey, that the journey will never end. It's nice to have big dreams and big hopes, like, I don't know, be a billionaire and have an island and have a huge family, but at the same time I feel like those are end goals, while if you have little goals every now and often, it's so much easier to keep on track and again get a positive feeling that you're doing something that is making you better. At least this is my kind of philosophy. This is the philosophy I relate with the most. I don't really relate with the philosophy of hedonism, where you're just pleasing your own senses, like you're having a nice food, you're drinking nice wine, you're going on nice vacations, because I feel like there is no purpose. While if you have a purpose, no matter what it is, it just makes you feel like you're improving. While if you're just sitting back and enjoying everything that's about life and thinking, oh, well, I will die anyway, it doesn't matter what I do, I'm not about that. And even though I have my lazy moments, my biggest pet peeve is people who are lazy, who are incompetent, who are not doing their job properly, who don't have motivation to do their job better, who don't strive to be better. It doesn't matter the profession, as long as I see kind of a strive for the better version of themselves, I love those people. And another popular question I got on Instagram is about my diet. So what I decided to do, I will film what I eat in a day tomorrow, so you can see what I'm currently consuming on my bikini prep. And I hope this little Q&A was enjoyable and fun for you. And thank you so much for sending me your questions, and I'll see you next time. Bye!